So what do you think of the tea?
I think it's great. It's, got a really earthy note to it. It's robust.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
it's hitting the spot.
You want to know what it is?
Like what's it made out of?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's it made out of?
Seaweed. This reminds me of a movie you got to see.
What's that?
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Hope it's better than this tea. All right, welcome to You Gotta See This Movie. This is a podcast where two guys who love to talk about the movies and the deeper themes that make these stories more than just a movie. If you like this episode, please consider giving us a subscription and a like. That will help us out. All right, so today is 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Is this a movie that we gotta see?
Yeah. We talked about doing this movie.
Yeah.
We were going to watch this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked if you owned the movie, and you said no.
Don't.
It's kind of hurt, man. I was just like, all the movies, you don't own this movie.
This is a rough one. I can see where that would hurt.
A little bit.
I do have a plethora of movies.
Yeah.
And this is not one of them.
And this is like, I'm just going to come right out and say it. This was my top number one movie for years.
Mm-hmm.
Recently, it's been bumped down the list, but for years, this is like numero uno.
Yeah.
Number one.
I see why this movie is important to you, and that's why we're going to talk about it.
All right.
So anyways,
okay. So the big question is, you just saw it. You haven't seen it. How many times have you seen the movie?
I mean, I can remember seeing it. So as a kid, it's obviously a movie that I've always known about. I've had relatives. It's one of those movies where your parents or grandparents are like, "Oh, this is a movie you got to see.
You got to see this
right?"
movie.
And as a kid, there's not a lot for me as a kid that was like, "Oh, engaged." So I'm like, let's fast forward to the squid because that's what I want to see. I want to see the creature. I want to see the monster. And so for me, it was all about that.
Okay. So yeah, because you're more of a monster guy and I'm more of a hardware guy.
Yeah.
So for me, it's all about the Nautilus. It's all about this submarine, this cool, menacing iron monster.
Yeah.
That's right, because they call him a monster in the movie too, right?
So for me, I can remember I think the very first time I appreciated it and really sat down to really watch it was actually at your house. Years ago, I think we were wrapping up a puppet shoot. And I think my wife was out of town at the time. And you're like, "Oh, we're getting ready to watch this movie tonight. You're welcome to join us." And I'm like, "All right."
Oh, really?
I came over, we watched it. And that was the first time I had your legendary popcorn.
Oh, wow.
And so it was a good night. And I thoroughly enjoyed the movie watching it that time. And
well, that's cool.
Yeah. And then, we can talk about, some of the actors right now because, as a kid, you don't know actors, you just know characters. Right. As I got older, you start seeing Kirk Douglas, and then I really like Peter Lorre.
Yeah.
And I start appreciating the things that he's in. So,
these are big time 1950s Hollywood icons.
Oh, yeah.
James Mason, Kirk Douglas, Peter Lorre, like, dang.
Yeah, Kirk Douglas is that Hollywood tough guy, right?
Yeah.
And Peter Lorre, and
Peter Lorre is a monster guy. So what's he famous for in the monster world?
So, well, I know he's done like Comedy of Terrors. I don't think he was never in like those like the Universal monster.
He wasn't
movies.
okay.
But there's a funny story with him. Because I'm fascinated with that era of Hollywood, the Universal monsters, and all those actors that were making these movies at the time, and they were all friends or competitors at the same time. So you got like Bela Lugosi, you got Boris Karloff, Vincent Price, and I guess when Bela Lugosi died at his funeral, Peter Lorre and Vincent Price together walked up to view the body. And I guess in honor of Bela Lugosi, Peter Lorre wore a cape.
Okay.
Walked up, and you know, they walked up, and this is, I think, Vincent Price telling the story. And he said, we stared at Bella for a little bit. And all of a sudden, Peter Lorre goes to him and be like, well, should we strike him in the heart with a wooden stick just in case? You know,
that's good.
And, but yeah. But no, I like Peter Lorre. And the first time I really got to know who he is that I did a play that he acted in. And
wait, what?
Yeah. So there's a movie that came out, Arsenic and Old Lace.
Oh yeah, that's a great.
He played
one.
a character.
Yeah.
I did that play.
Oh, he played his character in the movie.
Yeah, I didn't play his character, but I was in that play.
Okay.
And so you know, watching that movie and then seeing him, that was kind of when I was introduced to his genius. And
he was in Arsenic and Old
He was,
Lace.
yeah.
What was the other creepy guy that was in that movie? There was another. He wasn't the only creepy guy. It was like
it was Mortimer. So yeah, so there were two guys. There was the two brothers.
Yeah.
And then the creepy brother, the bad guy, and then he was like the henchman of the bad guy.
All right.
Yeah.
Cary Grant. Arsenic and Old Lace. I need to see that again. It's been
it's a great movie.
It's been a long time.
Fantastic movie.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, why do you love this movie so much?
I think a lot of it has to do with, I'm just going to say it, the Nautilus.
The Nautilus, yeah.
It's just an incredible, this mysterious, menacing submarine that looks like a monster.
Okay.
The production design is just.
Let me ask you, so how old were you when you first saw this movie?
Okay, I probably saw it. I remember seeing it in elementary school.
Okay.
Of all places, where we would have like movie day or movie afternoon, and the teachers would roll out the projector,
right.
Big, yeah, and they would rent the 35 millimeter film reels and spool those things up. And I just remember that opening scene, and the opening's interesting because the opening credits is on. It's like on a curtain. It's like on a theatrical curtain, and then it's overlaid with that water effect, light effect. And I just remember, the curtain coming up, and then just seeing the model sailing ship coming out. This thing comes up out of the water with the glowing green eyes, and just boom, takes it out. Yeah, I just totally remember that.
That's neat.
But yeah, sailing ships and submarines and monsters and. Just love the movie. Love it.
One thing I think it's important to remember about this story, because I've grown up where submarines are there's a submarine ride at Disneyland, and submarines are common throughout the whole world.
Right.
Right. And I'm sure even when you were a kid, you knew what a submarine was.
Right.
But when this book was written, it wasn't very common.
And written by who?
Jules Verne.
Jules Verne. Right. Yeah.
The time traveling man. But
time traveling man.
Hey, you've never heard that theory? They say like he's a time traveler. That's why
Jules Verne is a time traveler?
He came up with all these ideas.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's a theory. But so he writes this, and so the whole story takes place of like a submarine is like the stuff of legend. Like it's just.
Well, yeah, because he wrote this in the mid 1800s. So it's Victorian science fiction, which is super cool, and I always kind of like that too. And then at the time when this movie was, the time period of the movie, same thing. They had no idea what a submarine was, so everybody assumed
theory.
Yeah, they just assumed it was a monster.
Yeah, which was cool because look at it. It looks like a monster. It looks like a giant shark.
It's got the eyes.
It's got the eyes. Yeah.
Coming up out of the water, you just see the little the eyes sticking up
rigid. There. That's just. This is horrifying. And so, so like no one ever thinks that only another ship could take out another ship or a monster. Like those are your two options, right?
Yeah.
A monster or another ship. And yet it was this crazy submarine that didn't shoot, right? It wasn't like
it just ripped through the holes of
through them.
And that's what the cool part of this design is that, it's a ship killer. It's got like sawed tooth front end on it.
Yeah. It's like all it has to do is hit the area where the keg powder is, and then it's going to destroy the ship. So that opening scene is pretty cool. And you can imagine, again, if you put yourself in the time period, you're on a ship and you see like those green eyes come out of the water. It's a monster.
Yeah.
But yeah, though that Nautilus is it's cool, and I do like the way it takes out other ships. It's just ramming speed,
just rips right through them.
Just rips right through them. Yeah.
Well, I guess we should talk about like what the movie's about for our listening audience that has no idea what's going on.
Well, the movie's about the submarine who is taking out ships, and people are panicking. There's there's a legend of a monster out in the high seas, and so a professor and his apprentice are looking for ways to go because they just want to go look. And I think, if I remember correctly, the professor's like a believer. Like he's a big on. He believes in monsters. He believes in like the mysteries of the deep.
Oh yeah, he has an open mind.
He's got an open mind, right? He wants to go look for that. So he's looking for a ship, and then you've got this guy named Ned, who is like a harpooner. So he's like the Quint, right, from Jaws.
Yeah,
like there's anyone that's going to take out this monster, we need Ned, which is Kirk Douglas,
right?
And
so they're going out to look for this thing, right. This monster, sea creature
on other warships, right? So it's almost becoming a thing where, if you want fame, let's go hunt this monster,
right?
So, and I don't think Ned's not a believer. I think he's just looking for the next kill.
Yeah.
So, and then so they get on a boat, and of course they run into the Nautilus, and the Nautilus takes them out, and the professor, the apprentice, and Ned are their only survivors, and they get picked up where they find the Nautilus, and they realize it's not a monster at all. And in fact, it's a submarine.
It's a submarine.
Yeah.
Okay, so this submarine boat is piloted by Captain Nemo.
Captain Nemo.
And his crew of
sailors.
Sailors.
Yeah.
I want to say that they're loyal. They're loyal,
and we'll talk about that later. Yeah. But they're very loyal.
And Captain Nemo is basically, obviously, it's not a monster; it's a submarine, and he's going around and he's
taking these ships out.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And that's like the whole premise of the story. So, and then eventually, those guys, they get on the boat or the submarine, and they kind of learn who Captain Nemo is. So let's talk about Captain Nemo. First off, I want to talk about the dinner scene.
Yeah.
So that is an interesting scene. And what I got out of this movie too is, or I can see where like Pirates of the Caribbean took a lot of their stuff.
Yeah.
In two scenes in particular, like, him playing at the organ.
Right.
Right. And then, when Ned goes into the jungle, he's like, oh, the cannibals. And then he comes running back out, running on the beach. I mean, that's from Pirates too.
Yeah.
So, they got, Pirates took it from them. So very, impactful movie.
Right. Well, okay. So the Nautilus itself was designed by Harper Goff, who is a Imagineer, Disneyland Imagineer, more of a designer, I guess. But yeah, he designed obviously the Nautilus, but his work is in, like the Jungle Cruise and different, rides at Disneyland. You can see his work.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Harper Goff.
Yeah. He's got his name on one of the windows on Main Street.
So he's a big time Imagineer.
Big time. Yeah. Yeah. He was Disney's buddy. I know that when Walt Disney and him were talking about doing the film, and Walt brought him on to design the Nautilus, and Walt's idea for the submarine was going to be this futuristic, smooth, cigar-shaped kind of a thing. And then like Harper's like, no, it's got to be completely different. It was like a Friday. He left and built his little prototype over the weekend and brought it to show Walt. Oh, wow. And Walt's just like, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's cool.
It's this elegant sort of creature-looking industrial, covered in rivets, but the inside's this. It's this,
very homey.
Yeah, it's this big. Yeah, this big,
very luxurious.
The luxurious Victorian era type.
So,
yeah,
that was one thing about Nemo, is that he completely loves under the sea. Right? He says something like it's like the most. And under here, there's no taking. There's no nothing. It's just I'm here. And for all the stuff that he does not love about Earth or society, he does like a really bougie interior of the Nautilus.
Yeah.
So
he's got all this crushed red velvet upholstered furniture,
right?
And gold leaf little accents on everything, and
so let's talk about the dinner scene. So
okay,
so Nemo, he does get them to come, and he's gonna have a meal with them, and so the whole idea is they're eating this meal, which looks extravagant, right?
Yeah, and
it's really good.
Yeah, and they're asking him, well, how can you set such a table, aboard this submarine?
Yeah,
you don't have a farm, you don't, and he says, oh, everything here is from the ocean floor.
Everything here is from the sea. See?
Yeah. So James Cagney. Kind of sound like a James.
I guess
Cagney.
it was kind of. But yeah. So yeah, the that's like blowfish brisket.
Yeah.
So my question is all this stuff they're eating, was it good, or did they make it taste like a brisket?
Well, they started eating it, and then the minute
they found out,
they started questioning, like, oh, this is delicious. How did you prepare such a meal?
Yeah.
So it must have tasted pretty good.
Yeah. So they were all enjoying it, and the minute they said it's seafood, Kirk Douglas was like, I'm out.
Yeah.
I want real food.
Because I don't think seafood was like real popular in that era.
No, my guess is it was like common people food, right? It was like food you can get really easily. So,
or they just thought it was disgusting.
Yeah, I don't know. And then he's eating the pudding, which he's eating.
Yeah.
Until he finds out what it is, unborn octopus.
Yeah. The pudding did look pretty gross.
It did. Yeah. It did. He should have known better.
Yeah. But he wasn't disgusted when he took a bite.
No.
He's just like, what is it? He wasn't like, start gagging and say, what is it? He just,
Yeah, so everything they were eating, they get from the sea. And that's when they say, hey, we're going to go to an island, and then we're going to get more food there. And they're like, oh, great, we'll wait for the island.
Yeah.
But they didn't know that the island's actually underwater, and they're harvesting more
seafood.
More seafood. Yeah. Yeah, that was funny.
That was good. Well, let's talk about Captain Nemo. Like, how cool is he?
How cool is he?
He's just cool, right? Okay. I mean, I think he's cool.
Yeah.
He's very sophisticated, and I don't know. I just think he's like really cool.
I mean, he created this thing, right?
Yeah.
He created the Nautilus. And I think the most impressive thing is how he actually powers it. Right?
Yeah.
Because I think that's what he was afraid of. He was afraid of that information ever getting out.
Yeah, so he basically discovered nuclear power.
Yes.
And they never really said
they
nuclear.
Don't call it that.
No, he just he discovered the mystery of the universe, the mysterious power of the universe, which is basically, I guess, splitting atoms.
Right.
So he figured out how to do that, and realized how much energy that you can get out of it, that it would revolutionize the world or destroy it. Yeah. So he didn't want his knowledge out. He didn't want people to know about it.
I think he knew it would be destroyed.
Yeah.
Like he just knew like the world will be destroyed if this ever gets out.
Yeah.
So he was content by just having the one thing
in a safe, secure submarine, ocean floor. Life.
So is there like a backstory with Nemo? I mean, other than what we know in the movie, but before that, was he like a scientist, a doctor? How did he come up with this stuff?
I don't know. I don't think they get into it. I know that he was taken prisoner, and some bad people wanted his information. They wanted his smarts,
right?
And he wouldn't give it to them, and they tortured his family, which at that point he's just messed up.
Yeah. Killed his family. Tortured
and killed. Yeah. And so basically, he's out. He's crafted this submarine with his expertise and found a way to hide away from the world under the ocean, which is kind of like being in space, but you can't get to space, so in the ocean, right?
Yeah.
But then he's also on this vendetta,
like this bloody path of revenge.
Yeah, he's going to try to stop the seeds of war by attacking warships that are transporting weapons and gunpowder, and so that's kind of his
so his
reason to be, his raison d'etre.
So one of the backstory, I think, what put him on the, or after, his family was killed, he was arrested and put on the island as a slave camp, right?
Mm.
And that's another one of his things, that these things are just horrendous, these slave camps, and they're like the worst thing humanity's ever done. And so he was able to escape with a few of the men and go to the island of,
Volcania.
That is, I think, I wish something we would have spent a little bit more time in. Like, I would have liked to seen what was in that base, right?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it is cool. Like, you go underneath and you're up in the base, but then he goes in, but you never see him go inside. I mean, you see him go inside, but you never see what's inside the base.
Right.
So, I mean, if his submarine looks the way it does, I can't imagine what that base of operations looks like.
What does this shop look like?
I mean, at one point there's like a satellite dish.
Yeah, I did notice that.
Right?
Yeah, there's a satellite dish, so it's like,
yeah. So what's he beaming? What's he communicating with? But all right, well, let's talk about my favorite thing.
Okay.
The squid. The squid attack.
The squid's your favorite thing? Yeah, because it's a monster.
It's a monster. Yeah. It's so. I mean, no. As an adult, I think my favorite thing is the Nautilus. That is super cool. But as a kid, and I like the squid attack scene.
Yeah.
And, it's this giant squid. So you got this man-made monster versus nature's monster.
Right.
And they have it out. Yeah.
I guess the thing about this movie is everything throughout the whole thing seems very real. Submarine seems real. All the hardware, all the tech, everything's real. And then you get to the squid. He's kind of hokey. He's kind of like old-timey monster movie squid, which is still cool, right?
Yeah.
It's still cool, but it's still a little on the hokey side.
I don't know. It takes a lot of hokiness for me to like not appreciate it.
It is cool. I mean, especially for the time that it was done, it's cool.
I mean, I can still watch, like old Godzilla movies and still be into it, knowing that like, these models and everything's so small, but I enjoy it. I like it and it doesn't bother me so much, but I mean, they really got that beak going and the tentacles coming in.
Yeah.
And, there's that one like small room in the Nautilus, like that little, I wouldn't say like a waiting room almost before you walk up the stairs.
Yeah.
And, he's in there telling all his men like, all right, you're going to go against one of the most fearsome
and the
beasts
tentacle comes down the stairs and starts smacking them around.
Kind of reminded me of like War of the Worlds and so taking them out.
Yeah.
So, I like that scene. So I have a did you know, and you probably do. But did you know that scene was originally supposed to be done at dusk in calm waters?
Yes.
Oh, you did know that.
I did know that. The sunset squid.
The sunset squid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of those things where they wanted to do something different, and then they probably pictured this sort of magical sunset and like this, but it just didn't work. It just didn't work. Have you seen the footage of it?
No.
Oh, okay.
But I did. So another part of that story is that, well, there's two stories. I'm wondering which side do you land on.
Okay.
So one is that, Disney came in and gave them the idea like, oh, just do it at night during a storm. And then they're like, oh, okay, let's try that. And then another was, I can't remember who it was, but it was just another person that suggested that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was a producer or an Imagineer or someone. But I don't know which one suggested it, but it was, they came in and like, at night you be able to hide all your ropes and your, all these things. So.
And that's how you do it when you don't have when you don't have digital technology. Okay, but let's say that they did have digital technology. Would that fight have been as cool? Or would it still look kind of goofy at sunset, the fight?
I don't know if the sunset necessarily would have been.
Although you didn't see it, right?
I didn't. I think more of like the calm waters would have made it look weird.
Yeah.
Like it has to be like, you got these, in a sense, these two forces duking it out. You got nature versus man-made things.
Yeah.
It needs to be tumultuous, like, water splashing everywhere.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I didn't see it, but if Sunset, I don't know if that necessarily made it hokey or just that it was calm waters. I don't know.
It was, yeah, the whole scene was calm except
Yeah.
for this monster, which looked puppeteered, couldn't hide anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
So would you say that this movie doesn't have a lot of laugh out loud moments?
No, I think it has. I think it has some good moments.
Well, one of my favorite ones is during this scene when
Yeah.
one of the guy gets knocked down
Yeah.
inside, and they're like Kirk Douglas, who doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah.
That's another thing. So yeah, eventually he gets arrested because he's the rebel. He keeps wanting to get off
he
the
keeps
boat.
trying to
And,
escape.
He he walks in on the guy who got knocked out.
And he's got all those sucker marks on his face.
He goes,
Yeah.
"Hey, what's going on here? Are you okay?"
Yeah.
And then he just kind of walks up the stairs with his little knife.
Yeah.
Right. But it's like all these men are fighting this giant thing, and he walks into a fight. Something very small.
Yeah.
Cracks me up.
And there's a lot of good lines in it.
Yeah.
When he got the bottles with the specimens in it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Drinks it.
He drinks it, swallows the specimen. That was a flabulina oculina.
Ugh.
Poor little fella.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some funny stuff in the movie, I think.
Yeah.
Some good lines.
That was a good line.
Yeah.
That was also one of my trivia questions. So
Oh, the flabulina oculina.
yeah,
Oh, wow.
appreciate knowing now.
And what about Nemo's pet? Nemo's dog.
Esmeralda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was one thing that I was reading about this movie, that I guess that all the stars like kept herring in their pocket.
Oh, so they could be buds with the.
Well, yeah. So whenever they wanted to film the scene
Yeah.
to reward it, it was like they give it a herring, and
Yeah.
like all their costumes smelled horrible.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I guess they were laughing because that James Mason is like, he was like the big. I don't know if he was like the big star, but like the most, like the actor's actor
Yeah.
out of these group of people.
Yeah. He was the
And
most
they-
admired on the set.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
super professional. He's a big deal. He was
Yeah.
the big deal.
He
on
was the
this-
big deal.
Yeah.
And I guess they would give him a hard time, like, "Oh, you're such a great actor, and yet here you are with fish in your pockets, just like the rest of us." All right, so you think Nemo? Going back to Nemo, just so you think he's cool? You don't
I don't
think
know,
he's
I think-
crazy at all?
I don't think he's crazy. I think he's a little upset.
Just a little bit, right?
Well, I mean, come on.
Enough to build this thing and
he's
go on a rampage.
I know. He's done with humanity, which makes
Uh-huh.
sense. You know, his family was killed. People are constantly fighting each other, wars and slavery and torture. And he's like, I'm done. I'm out. I'm done.
Mhm.
I'm going to escape. He's going to use his smarts and escape into a submarine.
And then
But
terrorize and destroy me.
Yeah. But he's not like crazy. Like he's like killing innocent people.
Well, yeah, innocent people are dying. Would
Yeah,
you have considered the professor and his apprentice an innocent person? By luck, they survived that attack. It wasn't like
okay, no. I get what you're saying, but I mean, it's more of a like a war. It's like
Okay.
it's a battle. It's like this
Right.
battle for humanity by taking out this. What does he say? He says like, it's like, I don't see these dead people. I don't see the death on this ship. I see the thousands that are gonna die.
Yeah. Here's my thing.
He's saving lives.
There's a very
But see,
fine
he's
line.
saving lives. He's saving
Yeah.
more lives by taking
Okay.
out the ship.
He is this close to being a superhero villain, right?
No, he's not.
Come
that
on.
close.
Look, he builds this thing. He has a tragic story, sure.
Okay,
A lot
but
of
yeah, but
villains
did he build?
builds this thing?
Did he build it because for the purpose of? I guess he did. Or did he build it just to get away?
I mean, look, there's a hero out there that would have eventually come and like had to fight him had, the ending not ended the way it did.
I guess he did build a weapon with
Yeah.
comfortable furniture.
He's just,
All right.
I mean,
I don't know.
Go back to what
he's
the
just-
Emperor and Vader wanted to do. They wanted to bring peace and sustainability to the galaxy. So let's build the Death Star so that nobody does any shenanigans anymore. The same thing.
Let's talk about Ned.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Let's talk about Ned. I don't know. I just like Captain Nemo. I like his character.
I mean, heck, I like Darth Vader.
I want the smoking jacket. I want a smoking jacket.
Yeah, there are a ton of movie villains I love, so I get it.
He's a cool character. Okay, yeah, he's on a mission to kill and destroy. He's involved in this war.
Yeah,
to help.
Man, I hope I didn't just like destroy your childhood.
No.
All right, so Ned is.
I love Ned. Ned's great.
Yeah,
he's a simple guy. He's a harpooner. You know.
But from the beginning,
yeah,
he knew something was up with Nemo.
Yeah.
Right. Never trusted him. He always wanted off the boat.
He wanted to muzzle him.
Wanted to muzzle him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ned was on to him the whole time.
Ned's a fun guy.
Yeah.
Plays the guitar. Plays his little song.
Probably someone you want as your neighbor, right?
Oh, he'd be a great neighbor, right?
Great neighbor, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. If you had to pick, if you're gonna pick, would you want Captain Nemo as your neighbor, or? Oh no, because he might kill you.
Yeah.
If I do the wrong thing. If he wasn't maniacal, I think he's kind of a cool guy to hang out.
Well, if I offer him
if he was nice, if Captain Nemo was nice,
yeah,
I guess Ned would be fun.
But Nemo would probably come up with some cool things.
He is cool. You know, if money were no object, I would completely build the interior of the Nautilus as a room in my house
with the organ.
Yeah. The whole salon with the big windows and the big aquariums and all the.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like that would be your aquarium that you open up and then.
Yeah. You get a little fountain in there, and
maybe like some mannequins.
That would be on my list of things to create.
That's when you have stupid money.
When I have stupid money, that would be that's hands down. That would just be.
That would be cool.
Yeah. I even thought about like even taking it further, like actually building like a big section of the Nautilus and then having like a big pool in my backyard where it's actually submerged in it.
Oh, like the Nautilus is in the pool?
Yeah, and you actually go down in the Nautilus and you're in.
Oh, that would be cool. So you go up through that little pressurized tube.
Yeah. Well, no, yeah, you could do that, but I would probably just wouldn't want to get wet. I'd just go to the top.
Oh, so it's like Disneyland, it's just floating.
Yeah. The tops. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. See, that would be cool.
Take away a lot of your swimming room, but it'd be cool.
No, it's a big pool.
Oh, okay.
There might even be room for a squid.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah. Maybe. But yeah, no, that's my movie. If I had stupid money, I would create that movie.
That's a good one. And I almost wonder if there's someone in this world that's done that. You know, or at least maybe not the whole room, but at least that viewing.
I have a friend
as an aquarium.
I have a friend that did his home. He has like a small home movie theater that he did the inside up, like the Nautilus.
Oh, okay.
Not crazy with the the big curved walls and stuff, but all the detailing and stuff was pretty cool.
Yeah.
What were we talking about? Oh, Ned is your neighbor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if Ned was your neighbor, you just sing his songs and.
Yeah, he'd sing like sea chanties and.
He seems like a guy that would help you like move a piano.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he'd complain about it, but he'd still help you out.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah. And sing his songs. Oh, that was one thing. So I watched this movie with my kids.
Oh, you did? It's rated G, by the way.
It's rated G. Yeah. And actually I started watching it without them. And then so they came in while I was watching it.
Oh.
And it drew them in.
It hooked them.
Okay. They were like, they're into it. So
Dad, that submarine's cool. That squid's dumb, but the submarine's cool. And then you
know what? My kids actually appreciate monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
so
I figured that when I was just messing with
you. Yeah, they're okay. They can just separate their disbelief.
Yeah.
But so we were watching it and what was it? Oh, when they get to the island to harvest things and they're watching it and they're saying, because they watched the dinner scene and all that fish food and they're like, oh, okay, great. And I said, yeah. So now they're going to the island to get more food. And then when it shows the underwater people like walking the sea turtles.
Oh yeah. That's kind of sad.
That broke my daughter's heart. And I couldn't walk back on it because I completely forgot about that scene.
Yeah.
And she's like, wait, are they gonna are they gonna eat those turtles? I'm like, no, I think they're taking them as pets. And then she goes, no, you said they're going to get food.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, yeah, they're gonna eat those turtles. I mean, they got to eat to survive, right? And she was just like, and I think what it was is they had to. The fact that it was like real turtles.
Yeah. Yeah, they weren't like fake rubber turtles. They were like real ones, and they looked sad.
So there was a little bit of I got to,
It's like, look, they don't have cows.
Right.
Those are their cows.
Yeah. And she was really good. She goes, well, I'm glad those things are protected nowadays because, yeah, you can't touch those sea turtles.
Oh, no.
That's big time fine.
That's big time.
But,
let's talk about the cannibals. Like, he goes on the island, right? And Captain Nemo warns him, there's cannibals on that island. And it's like, yeah, right.
Yeah,
You're just trying to scare you, right, pal? Right.
Yeah. I'm just trying to escape because that was the one island. He was like, yeah, sure, go ahead.
Yeah.
You want to escape? Go for it.
Go for it, yeah.
Yeah. I'll let you go to the land.
So he wanders into the jungle. He leans down to get a drink of water, looks up, he sees the skulls and the spears, and he starts hearing the war drums, and
yeah, they chase him all the way to the boat.
All the way to the boat.
Yeah, and he has that magical electrocution thing.
Yeah.
So I guess there was a movie goof on that scene. So if anyone was going to go back and watch this scene, look for, I guess, one of the main guy that's coming down.
Yeah.
You can see like he left his wedding band on. And so.
What if it's not what if it's an island guy band? I guess they didn't
do that.
With jewelry.
Yeah.
It was all sticks and rope.
Yeah.
And palm branches and stuff.
And then he shot
Those were the cleanest cut looking native people, though.
They're very clean.
Very
clean. Yeah. Looks like they have showers on that island.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a funny scene.
It was pretty good. It was comical. They did a lot of those, like, it's shocking me, but I'm going to stand here and jump up and down funny. And,
right. Like I'm on a hot plate. Like,
yeah. So that was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is, I like that scene because it's Ned who been wanting his freedom the whole movie.
Yeah.
Right. Finally gets it, but is now begging to go back.
Yeah.
to be captive again.
Yes.
So
what were we talking about next?
Jim's movie magic.
Oh, movie magic.
What you got?
Okay, so it was just a little bit of information that I came upon years ago. I visited the home of Bob Burns.
Mm-hmm.
He's sort of an old school makeup artist. He started off his career as like, putting on gorilla suits and doing, working in B movies and being monsters and stuff. You'll see him like on documentaries, like sci-fi documentaries. He sort of became a collector of various models and props and stuff. So anyways, I had an opportunity to visit his home museum. And he had just cool stuff. He had, like Gort from The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Oh.
He had all these different kind of like, costumes. He had the original Time Machine.
No way.
Yeah, he had that. Crazy story about how he got that.
That's a big piece.
Yeah, and he had, trying to think what else that was iconic. Terminator 2, Terminator, like the Sulaco spaceship and the Hunter Killers and a bunch of stuff from that. All kinds of crazy monster masks. But anyways, he had a couple helmets, diving helmets from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I was like, oh, these is great. Are these replicas? And said, nope, that's the real thing. That's the real deal. I was like, how did you get a hold of that? And he says, well, he wasn't the one that did it, but he had an associate. Because at the time, you can go to the Walt Disney Studios and their prop department and rent stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The guy went to the studios, rented a couple helmets, went home, made a mold, made a copy. And he took the copies, returned them to the studio, and kept the originals.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And the studio didn't know, and they probably wouldn't even care. But yeah, so yeah, they were the real deal.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So was he still alive when you went and visited him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think he died in 93, I think. He's famous for doing these crazy Halloween displays. Because he has all these friends that worked in, the film industry, makeup guys and special effects guys. And and he was able to borrow a lot of stuff. One year he did a display that was based on aliens, and he was able to borrow a lot of the props from the movie, a lot of the face huggers and like the Queen Alien and that kind of stuff. And then I've seen pictures of him putting together his Hollywood thing, and like Dennis Muren's in there with him working, and some of the other big time special effects artists would get together at Bob's house for Halloween, and thousands of people would come by and look at his display. Really cool stuff.
That's neat.
But yeah, he started to get. He just knew everybody in the industry, and they would just give him stuff, props from models and props and things. And he had a good reputation with the studios, and it's like if they ever needed something, he would, loan it back to him, and then he would just get it back. He had the what was the ship from Aliens, the derelict spacecraft, the big horseshoe one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So from the original movie, the big horseshoe spacecraft, he got basically they gave it to him because it's like, we got to get rid of this stuff. So it's too big. So a truck, drove to his property. They dropped it off in his driveway, and the big arm broke. It's like broke and kind of just snapped. And then years later, I don't know how many years later, but James Cameron came through and said he wanted to use it again for Aliens, for the movie Aliens. And he's like, so Bob's like, well, we need to fix this thing, because it's broken. And James Cameron's like, no, I like it. It's probably how it crashed, and that's the big hole where they would go where they would go inside to get inside the spacecraft. So they just used it as is.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and then when they were done, they took it back to his house.
Yeah. So they didn't even. So a broken piece is what made the Aliens. Because I know that scene. That's the scene where the two parents walk in.
Yeah.
To the ship. Yeah.
Yeah. He just used it as is.
Yeah.
And he was, he's a great guy. Everybody liked him, and they would literally just give him stuff. Oh, I got these leftover models. Oh, I got this stuff. Oh, I got, yeah. He was.
I think if I ever, probably for you as well, if we ever were curators of a museum, it would definitely be like something like that, like a prop.
Yeah.
Prop museum. That's neat.
Yeah. Cool
stuff. Be a good time.
All right. Well, let's talk about the bigger theme.
The bigger theme. Yeah, we've been kind of all over the place with this and just sharing our favorite moments and stuff.
So this goes along the lines of Nemo's intentions.
You mean the cool guy in the movie?
The cool guy.
Yeah.
The cool, somewhat villain.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, debatable. I'm not gonna say he's not cool. He is cool.
He's cool like Darth Vader.
He is cool.
I should have said that. Okay.
And so he, like we said, that his life was tragic. Lost his family. He was taken aboard a slave. He saw the worst in humanity. Right? There's nothing worse. So that was like his motivation in building this thing and getting rid of it. And one thing we didn't say is that, so they were really big on, they only attacked ships without a flag. So yeah, so in a sense, they weren't attacking innocent ships. They were only attacking the ships that didn't bear a flag unless those ships fired upon him. And if they fired upon him, then he would attack them.
Right. And that
was kind of like his rules of engagement.
Yeah.
So in a sense, he has, I think we can all like sympathize with where he's coming from. We can all be like, yeah, I mean, you saw the worst of it. Like you lost your family. You've seen those slave camps. You barely escaped with your men. So you could sympathize with that, and you can say like, oh, look, I get why you're upset. I get why you're doing this. So in a sense, it's like this idea of righteous anger, right? So is anger okay to have? And I know that we've, as Christians, we like to point to what Jesus did in the temple, and he, Jesus being fully God, but also fully man, he experienced emotions just like we do. And he walks into the temple and he sees all this stuff going on, which is basically church people ripping innocent people off, right? They're saying, you need to give us this money and this amount of money if you want to be okay with God. And again, like one of the worst thing that the church has right now is its people.
Yeah.
And that's how it's been throughout all history. Like people will judge Jesus based off of church people, and which is a shame. But also it shows like kind of the gravity that we hold as Christians, and is how, you know, we need to show the world the best parts of Jesus. So, however, so Jesus goes into the temple, sees those people, and what does he do? He flips over the tables. He starts kind of beating them with the whip, saying, "Get out of here. You've turned my father's house into a den of thieves." And we all look at that and be like, yeah, that's righteous anger. That is good.
It's justified.
It's justified. So there are a ton of things that we can see as justified in our life. And to a point, we can see Nemo, his anger is somewhat justified, right? Or we can maybe agree and sympathize that it is.
Yeah.
But I think the theme is here is that it's corruptible, right? Jesus, and I think the difference is that, like, look, if we were to come to church, you know, our church, where we work at, and we see something going on that's not good. We have like all these shady characters that are taking money from our people, or what, and we do exactly what Jesus does. Is it the same? And I would argue, no, it's not. And the disconnect is that Jesus, he did righteous anger, but if we were to do that, where Jesus is perfect, Jesus isn't going to be, he doesn't have any sin in him. He's perfect. Where if we were to do the exact same thing, we run the chance of maybe, oh, I like whipping this guy, or, oh, I feel this power.
Okay, so it's like being angry without sinning.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think we can do that.
You don't think we could do it?
No.
You don't think you could pull it off?
I don't. I think, well, I think the possibility of sin is always there.
Right.
And corruptibility.
Yeah.
Right. So,
because when you reach a point of anger, you're starting to lose it.
Right. And,
Yeah.
and so it becomes a point to where like, our righteous, what we think is righteous anger can become self-righteous anger. Right. It almost becomes, you know, like for different reasons. Like I said, you might start liking, you know, whipping the guys out of church, or you might like the attention that it brings. Like, oh,
you start,
wow.
you start puffing yourself up, thinking you're better than
I'm better than them,
Yeah.
and so it becomes self-righteous.
Yeah.
And I think that we can't do that. And you know, the Psalms 16:32 says that be better as a patient person than a warrior, one with self-control, and the one who takes a city. So I think we all need to check our anger. And I think that's where his intentions were good, but I think it got corruptible. Right. So then he was willing to take Ned prisoner. He was going to pretty much kill Ned because Ned was kind of in the way. And then let's get to the most weird thing. And when I kind of solidifies to me, like, oh, Nemo's the villain.
Okay. What?
It's when he's dying at the end.
Yeah.
And all his cult-like people.
Yeah. He's taking,
we're going to die too.
That's
and like, funny, and he's going to kill the professor, and like, we're all going to go down with the ship.
Yeah.
Instead of like letting him go, or giving anybody the choice to go. And I think that's Nemo's tragic story, is that what started as a righteous anger eventually does become self-righteous.
Yeah, he kind of becomes this kind of cult leader, kind of. Yeah.
So,
aside from that, he's still cool.
Oh no, he's still cool. Yeah. Even the way he talks, there's
it's just the way he talks.
Yeah, there's like he almost sounds like Vincent Price a little bit.
Yeah.
Just like I don't know if I can copy his talk, but. Yeah, so that's the kind of the bigger theme, and I think we all need to. I mean, we're all going to get angry, and there's nothing good that ever comes out of our anger unless it's positive change, I guess. But
so he would have to he'd have to target the ship, like, you guys are going down, everybody off the boat.
Yeah,
get everybody off the boat, and then he can ram them. Right? Would that be okay?
Well, I think taking out, but then too, like he's taking out these slave ships. How many innocent slaves are on that ship?
No, I thought they'll have to get off.
Yeah.
Because because his thing is trying to stop the seeds of war.
He's trying to stop the system, right? The whole system of the broken humanity.
Yeah.
And with that, again, like a villain, there's innocent people that are going to die with this.
Yeah. Well,
like with any revolution, innocent people are going to die.
Yeah.
So he sees the bigger picture.
Just trying to think of how,
like Thanos. Just saying. Not that you know who Thanos is.
I don't know who Thanos is,
but I'm sure our audience does. So
is that a Marvel?
It's
movie
a Marvel thing.
Character.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, all right. Well, we can agree that Nemo is the original Thanos. Let's move on.
I can't agree with that. I don't know who you're talking about.
All right. Well. All right. Look at this is your favorite movie.
Yeah.
This is a movie that I think everyone should see, and I liked it. So let's get into this very unfair trivia battle war because I don't think I have a chance.
I don't know. I mean, you already mentioned a couple things that I didn't know.
So all right.
And mine are probably but
here we go. So I feel like I have the unfair advantage. So I'd like to go first if that's okay.
All right.
All right. Here we go. Well, you already took one question away from me, but can you name the ship that was sunk in the beginning? It was the ship that the Nautilus took out.
The very beginning.
In the very beginning.
Yeah. No.
Oh, wow.
No. I'm trying to think. No, I don't. I don't know that ship.
It was the Golden Arrow.
Oh yeah, I don't know that. Yeah. Did they say it?
They do. It's in the very beginning when they're in San Francisco and they're like the crowds getting around and that guy is like, I knew someone who was on that ship, the Golden Arrow.
Golden Arrow.
And he's here to tell you the story. I saw the creature and yeah. All right. Well, look at that.
Look at that.
I'm on the board.
All right.
You're up.
So I can't do this one because we talked about the saute of unborn octopus.
Yeah. That was one of my questions too. So that's out.
All right. This is going to be way too easy. I don't even know if I should even ask it.
What is the name of Nemo's ship?
Ned Land and Peter Lorre.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say his name because I can't remember what his name is because they never say his name in the movie. I think once.
Yeah.
Once.
I don't think they do either.
They're in the map room. Right, they're trying to find out where Nemo's secret base is.
Mm-hmm.
Esmeralda comes in, barking and whooping it up.
Mm-hmm.
Ned tries to find something to give her to shut her up, keep her quiet. What does he give her? He finds something in Nemo's...
A cigar.
Dang.
Whoa. Yeah.
All right.
The seaweed cigar.
The seaweed cigars.
Yeah.
All right, that was too easy.
You know what's funny? I remember watching that scene and it stuck out to me because I'm like, it didn't dawn on me at the time when I was watching it, but I thought it was so weird. Like, why would a seal eat a cigar?
It's seaweed.
Because it's seaweed. Yeah. Yeah. So that just happened to stick out with me. Stick out to me.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Give me another one.
All right. Now this was my hard one, but you'll probably figure it out. All right. So in the beginning, or not in the beginning, but when Ned, the professor, and the apprentice, Peter Lorre, when they take off on the ship, in the first warship that they're going out to look for the monster, they're having a meeting in the captain's cabin, and there's a picture of a president hanging on the wall.
Abraham Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln.
Sorry, I should have jumped in.
No, that's fine. All right. What's your next one?
How many more do I get?
Well, we do typically 3.
Yeah.
But I don't have another question because I know you know the answer because you said it during this thing. So.
Oh, okay.
Well, okay.
I've got 2. I've got one that's one that's probably really hard and you probably don't know. I mean, it's not in the movie. It's more just general trivia.
All right, I got a general trivia one, so why don't you give me one general trivia one?
Okay. Okay, so obviously the Nautilus was, a movie set, studio, right? And everything in that set's long been destroyed. However, the pipe organ that Nemo plays still exists and is still on display where you can see it. Everything else is gone, but that organ is still on display and is being used.
Okay.
Where is it?
Okay, so before I answer this question, part of me was, when I was really looking at that scene, I was looking at that organ, a lot of it looked like it was painted. But I guess it really is a real organ.
Well, I don't know. That I don't know for sure.
All right. I mean, there's only one organ I know of that, it might possibly be Pirates of the Caribbean ride.
You're close.
Oh, man.
You're close.
Okay.
But no.
All right.
You want to take another guess? Because you're halfway there, more than halfway there. It's not in the Pirates of the Caribbean. It's somewhere else.
But it's at Disneyland.
It's at Disneyland.
So if I just said Disneyland.
Yeah, but what attraction? What attraction?
Okay, so then the second place I would guess would be Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah. The pipes are different, but the organ.
But the actual organ
is the same one.
Wow, that's cool.
Because after the film they had a display at Disneyland with all the interior sets that you could walk through.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. So they had a full on 20,000 leads.
Did you do that?
No, that was before my time.
Oh, okay.
And everything, everything was built as movie sets, props, so they started falling apart.
Right.
They had the squid. They had the squid in there too.
No way.
Started to
like
rot.
The squid?
The squid, yeah,
Oh.
and started rotting. But the only thing they saved was that organ. And, well, there might be something, but what people know is that the organ got moved to the Haunted Mansion.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool.
All right. Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I do have one last question.
Okay.
Okay, so you know what the specimen was that Ned drank, right? Because you said it.
The Flabulina oculina.
Yeah.
That's my Peter Lorre voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flabulina oculina.
Flabulina oculina.
It's priceless.
Basted in barnacles with sea squid dressings.
Sea squid dressing, yeah.
They're preserves made from the sea cucumber, which is dumb because it makes it sound like it's a vegetable, right?
It's a creature.
It's a creature, yeah.
All right, so what is a Fabulina oculina?
Oh, what is it?
Yeah.
It's a fish.
No.
No, it's not a fish. Squid.
No.
It's some kind of sea creature.
Yes.
How can it not be a fish or a squid? An eel.
It's a sea slug.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's why it went down easy.
Yeah.
Sea slug, huh?
All right, you got the last question.
Okay. Ned Land, he plays his sea chanty on the ship, but then he loses his guitar, right? Because ship goes down. I think he took his guitar and smashed somebody in the head with it, right?
He did in that fight, the epic fight at the end.
Yeah.
The two tough guys, yeah.
Yeah. So while he's on the submarine, he needs a new guitar. So he crafts himself a new guitar.
Oh.
It's too easy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What does he make it out of? He makes his guitar out of what?
Now, if I get this right, I win. You understand this?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you win.
Okay, well, now I'm actually starting to draw a blank. Is it made out of two things? Or is it one thing?
Let's just say the main body of the guitar.
main body, it's a turtle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a turtle.
But then what's the neck?
I don't know.
Human?
It almost looks like some kind of
like a spine.
Like a spine.
Yeah.
Turtle bone? Is it? Maybe you straighten out the turtle bone.
No, I don't know if that's
no, because there's spines in the shell.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Well, let's go with human.
Okay.
This is a human spine
Yeah.
with the turtle shell.
Yeah.
And wow, look at that. I won.
You won.
Ah, man.
My questions were too easy.
Yeah, they were. All right. Well, what are your let's rank these and final thoughts. You know what? It's your favorite. I'll go first.
You go first.
So my final thoughts is this is a wonderful movie. Fantastic from beginning to end. And I can look back at this and think like, wow, I don't know if it would hold my
I knew it didn't hold my attention as a kid so much, other than like the cool scenes. But man, like it held my kids' attention. And so I can appreciate that a little bit more. I really appreciate this movie as an adult. But I really liked how my kids were into it. So I'm going to give it, it's not my favorite movie. Definitely a movie that you got to see, but I'm going to give this an 8.2.
Ooh, an 8.2.
An 8.2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's a beautiful movie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, visually just stunning. From the cinematography, the production design. I mean, you can't beat that kind of an all-star cast. I mean, these guys were Hollywood icons. James Mason and Peter Lorre and Kirk Douglas.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great film.
Great film.
You got to see it. And then, of course, it's the hardware. It's the sci-fi. It's the Victorian sci-fi steampunk kind of stuff, which is super cool. But I rated this at a 9.6.
9.6. Okay.
9.6. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think you were gonna go below a 9.5 with this.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah, I know this is your movie.
Yeah.
But so yeah, you talked about how like I don't own this movie.
Yeah.
You have it on DVD.
Yeah. This is a great set. I mean, there's hours and hours of behind the scenes stuff on it.
Yeah.
Like really good stuff.
So in our closing thoughts, I got, one, if this movie ever comes out on Blu-ray, I watched this on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And that's very high definition, and it looked great. And that's one thing I love about 4K movies, like older 4K movies. They really do a good job making, while keeping the grain of a film,
Mm-hmm.
they do a really good job by making it look almost as if this was filmed today. Like the way they bring out the colors and the definition in people. So I can tell you one thing: when this comes out on 4K, and it probably eventually will, I would get this, and it definitely will go in my collection. But my question to you is: it's a good story,
Mm-hmm.
it's a good movie. Why hasn't Disney remade this thing? To me, I think it'd be a no-brainer.
Yeah, I know. There have been other versions out there, and they're just not.
But not the Disney version.
No.
Yeah. I mean, I think the way these characters like Nemo, because I know there are other stories with Nemo.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so Nemo is like a character, a hero.
Yeah.
Ned's a character, a hero. The professor, he was the one character that was okay. Peter Lorre's character was great. Like, this could be a thing, like more adventures, more stories, more Nautilus. I'm just surprised that this isn't something Disney hasn't cashed in on. So
yeah, I mean, it was a big deal at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, they had the submarine attraction at Walt Disney World was the Nautilus. They had that for years.
I don't know.
Something
to think about.
I don't know.
Disney, get on it. I know Disney watches our show, but
yeah, I know. But they'd mess it.
They
up.
would mess.
They'd mess it
It would
up.
not be.
They
the
would
same.
really mess it up.
It wouldn't. But
Their track record of remakes is
it would be
not
cool.
good.
Yeah,
It's not good.
give
So.
it to the
Yeah.
Pirates of the Caribbean team. All right. Well,
All right.
This was great. This is fun. Another great movie in the list. Now, if we go back and we look at all our movies that we've done so far that we've talked about, is this number one for you? So versus Goonies, Stand By Me, Return of the Jedi, Nacho Libre.
Yeah, no, this is on
This
top.
is number
This
one.
is number one. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, thank you guys for checking us out. Again, please consider giving us a like and a subscribe. That would help us out a lot. So thank you, and take care.